What is up, Karatics? In this video, I'm giving a visual guide for this week's normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race totaling over $300,000. Remember, the time trials can only be completed once a week for the full $100,000 payout. The premium race, however, can be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered / flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So, starting off with the time trial this week, which is down Chiliad, I highly recommend either the Batty 801, Manchez, or a BF 400 for this time trial. In terms of route, this time trial is mostly shortcuts, as you can imagine. If you follow the main path, you will not make it in time. You're required to go through some of the most hardest and frustrating shortcuts, and especially for this time trial, you cannot call vehicles on Mount Chiliad. So I'm going to be showing you guys a technique that makes this time trial a lot easier to restart once you mess up, because obviously when you mess up, you fly off your bike and the time trial ends, and trying to get back on it is a little bit of a pain because it starts rolling down the mountain. It just gets very annoying. So before you start, the first thing you're going to want to do is call in your bike of choice from the 3 I recommended, and then you're going to press start, go to online, jobs, play job, Rockstar created, then you go to races, and then find a race called Peak Performance. Then you're going to start the race on your own, and then when you're at the bicycle selection screen, you're just going to back out, and you're going to spawn right at the top of Mount Chiliad with your bike that you called in before, right there close to the time trial. So basically, every time you fall off your bike or die, just start this race back up, and then back out of it once you're on the bicycle selection screen, and then you spawn right there next to the time trial with your bike ready to try again. It's that easy. Otherwise, you'll be running after your bike sliding down the mountain, and you're going to die multiple times in the process. Now, even with this technique of restarting it, this time trial is still very annoying and tricky. It involves a lot of luck and requires a lot of patience to complete. Now, I once spent about 2 hours attempting this time trial the last time I made this video on it about 8 months ago. Now, this time, I actually got lucky, and believe it or not, I don't know how, but I actually beat it on my second try. I honestly couldn't believe it. I guess it had something to do with the practice I had from last time. I'm not sure. I kind of remembered the route roughly. But anyways, I don't really recommend this time trial because of how frustrating it is to complete. But if you want a bit of a challenge, make sure you use the method I showed and how to restart it if you fall off. And give it a couple attempts to see what you think. But again, it's very challenging and difficult. If you fail after like 5 tries, just move on to something else. It's not worth sitting there for hours trying to do it. But anyways, I'll be using a fully upgraded Batty 801 for this time trial. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito time trial, which is Vespucci Canals. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. So this RC time trial is a bit tricky and is one of those where you have to take it slow on most of the areas. For this one, make sure you brake a lot before most of the tight corners, and make sure you let off the throttle for some of the bumpy sections, especially off the bridges. And lastly, when you use your brakes, make sure to press them about halfway in, not all the way, or you might lose control of your Bandito. And lastly, we have this week's premium race, which is Boots on the Ground. This one is restricted to the motorcycles class. I highly recommend either the Shotaro or a Hakuchu drag for this race. If you use either of these two bikes, this is going to be a very easy race for you, as you can full throttle pretty much the entire thing, except for the first corner. Make sure you brake for that 90-degree turn. For this race, pretty simple for the most part. I'll be using a fully upgraded Shotaro. That will be the easiest bike to use for this one if you're wondering which of the two to pick from. And that's it, guys. A normal time trial is very difficult and one I highly recommend skipping if you can't complete it after a couple attempts. The RC time trial is pretty difficult if you've never done it before, but just take it slow for most of the tight corners. Make sure you brake a bit extra and you'll be fine. And this week's premium race is very easy as long as you use one of the bikes I recommended and brake before that first turn. Again, remember guys, you can earn over $300,000 between the three this week, and setting yourself to go to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.